Hey guys, Freddy here. Welcome back to the desktop for another rules breakdown, and this time we're going to be looking at ReAnimated from Trapped Chest. Now, when I did a flip through of the rulebook a couple of weeks ago, I totally forgot to mention that this is available for free download from their website. Now, I did include the link on that video, and I'll try and remember it in the description down below for this video. But if you go to their website, you can download the rulebook free of charge. Obviously, if you want a physical copy, they've got printing costs, so it will cost you. But you can get the rulebook and you can get a bunch of other stuff, including some pre-generated characters, which are very useful for this video because I printed one out, the Labourer class. So I'll be using this for the examples. Now, this has, on the flip side of it, or folded over because it's an A4, a quick reference, which is also on the inside of the rules. So this should be very, very easy to do. So let's have a look through the rules of ReAnimated. And so skills. Well, skills dealt with on page 3. How the bones roll. ReAnimated makes use of the key-powered system, which is a simple 2d8 dice mechanic. When a roll is required, you roll 2 8-sided dice, add their totals together, add the relevant stat, skill, and any other bonuses to get a final number. After adding all the numbers together, you're equal to or higher than target number, you succeed. Now, this is where I stumbled into a problem, because there is no mentioned target number. Now, while I was thinking through, I imagined it might be something like an easy target number would be 5, a moderate one would be 10, or a difficult one would be 15, or if it was slightly easier, 4, 8, 12, something like that. Or I did consider the fact that you might be rolling against 2d8. So the Games Master rolls 2d8, you're rolling 2d8 and adding your skills, and that's the variable target number. But no, I got in contact with the writer, and he came back and he says that the average target number is 9. Now this makes it 74% likely to fail for an unscaled character. I haven't done the maths, but that sounds like a reasonable amount that an unskilled character should fail at something. Now obviously, when you're attempting to do something against somebody else, rather than just going against a target number, you'll both be rolling your dice, adding your bonuses from your attributes, from your skills, and attempting to get the higher amount. There's also edge and fault. These are basically advantage and disadvantage from 5th edition. In the case when you're doing this, if you've got edge, you roll 3d8 instead of 2d8, and you choose the 2 highest. If you've got fault, then you're rolling 3d8 and you're choosing the 2 lowest. So let's have a quick example. The labourer here is attempting to scramble over a wall. So that's going to be his strength for climbing. Athletics is the skill which covers that, so he's got +5. Target number's 9. We roll 5 plus 5, 10, so he succeeds. And initiative. Well, that's dealt with on page 7 in the combat section. 10 rather. Initiative. Initiative rolled at the beginning of every round means everyone rolls 2d8 and adds their dexterity, and then you go highest to lowest. So, this character has dexterity of 1, roll 2 dice, we get a 6 and a 2, so 8, plus 1, 9, so he goes after everybody in 10 or higher, before everybody who has 8 or lower. Now, he gets a movement action, a standard action, and a free action. Free action is something which you can do very fast. Standard action is things like combat. Movement is movement. But standard actions, you can also make a movement, so you can move double your amount, 30 feet or 10 meters. And that's what you get. Everybody gets one action. Now, defense is included in it, but we'll come to that in a second. And so combat. Well, it's dealt with on page 11 as well. Attacking and defense. To attack, choose a target and roll either melee or shoot, depending on the weapon, and the defender will roll either block or dodge. If the attack roll is equal or higher than the defense roll, the attack hits and damage is rolled. Well, it mentions that you can't block ranged weapons. You can only dodge them. But you can use dodge for either. So looking at this character, well, his dexterity is 1, and his dodge is 1, so you would roll 2 for that. If he was shooting, it'd be dexterity plus shoot, so only 1. If he's blocking or melee, well, both of those are 2, and they go off his strength, so they'd be plus 6. Now, in the case of zombies, while they have a melee skill, they don't have a dodge or a block skill. So basically, they're just going to be rolling 2 dice. So we will say this character's going to shoot at someone. So he's only rolling plus 1. So we roll, he gets 5, plus 1, 6. And he's shooting at a zombie, so they roll their 2 dice. They get an 8 and a 5, so 13. So they dodge. Now, one of the things that Jed, the creator of the game, suggested when I was talking these rules out with him was that if you're in a situation where multiple people are on a zombie, then you hit automatically. Zombies aren't supposed to be super hard targets, but I think that might change when you've got something like a Goliath here, the Hardcore Harry Goliath, because he is supposed to be much more powerful, so I think you'd probably still keep him rolling dice rather than making hits automatic. And so damage. Well, first of all, critical hits. If when you're rolling your dice for combat, you roll 2 the same, so if we rolled 2 5s, you'd do a critical hit and do double damage. But what is damage anyway? Well, damage, to calculate damage, roll 3d8. If the weapon has low damage, it is equal to the lowest die, middle die for the mid damage, and highest die for high damage. If the defender has armor, it offers a flat damage reduction. So if we go back a page, we can see knives and fists do low damage, machete or baseball bat do mid damage, an axe or a sledgehammer do high damage. And we've got the same for ranged weapons here. Pistols do low, shotguns do mid, bows do mid, rifles do high. So we're rolling 3 dice. We were saying that he was basically just punching at the opponent, so we're going to be doing low damage. We roll, we get 2 8s, which we discard because they're high, so we take the lowest, so he does 6 damage. Now, as it said, armor has a dex penalty, so if you're wearing armor, you're getting a penalty on your dex for combat and skill rolls, but they have a flat bonus. So light armor, medium armor, heavy armor take off 1 point, 2 points, or 3 points. So if you're wearing heavy armor, you'd take that 6 points and you'd reduce it to 3. And so health. Well, it's a hit point based system. So this character has 22 hit points. They get bonus because they have hit points are equal to 10 plus 3 times your strength for this particular class, the Labourer. So they're a bit tougher than other people. But 6 points of damage, you take off that, and you keep operating. It's like Dungeons & Dragons hit points, so it has no penalties beyond that, except when you reach 0. When you reach 0, you fall unconscious. Start of every round, you below 0 hit points, roll 1d8. If the roll is equal to or lower than the number you're into negative, you lose 1 hit points. You die at negative 8 hit points, unless you receive first aid, which puts you back at 0 hit points. So you've taken 4 points of damage past, so you're at -4, you roll, that's lower, so now you're at -5. And the next round you'll roll again and again until you get to -8 and die, or you are first aided. And advancement. Advancement's dealt on page 5. So you get experience, but it's not a level-based system, you spend the experience. When the GM has final say on how much XP you earn, it's often going to be 1p after surviving a session. Though very dangerous activities take multiple sessions, may pay out extra. What can you get with the XP? Well, you can buy an extra hit point at a rate of 1-to-1, skill points, you get 1 skill point for 3 XP, and stat points, you get 1 stat point for 8 XP. Advancement almost requires you to take some time, so expect to spend 1 day for each point of XP. Note, raising strength also grants you a number of hit points, just as if you had started higher. Raising any stat gives you an additional skill point to spend tied to that stat. So if you increase your strength, then you can increase your strength skills, athletics, block, intimidate, melee, or throw. If you increase your dex, it increases those 5. If you increase your mental it increases those 5. 1 point to spend however you want. And so that's ReAnimated. It's a nice simple little system once you get to grips with it. Now, one of the things I kind of skipped over earlier was damaging zombies. Now, the 2 zombies that we featured here both have a weak point of the brain, which means, if we go back to page 13, yep, they've got weak points. Brain, kill it by destroying the brain, which means that even if you go over its normal hit points, it's not destroyed. So when you're attacking, you have to roll 1d8 to see where you hit. We roll a 6, so we've hit them in the torso. Which means whatever damage we do might destroy the torso, but they'll still be functional. Torso has full HP, limbs and heads take 8 HP, so you can blow off their arms and legs, and they will keep on going until you destroy their brain, even though they won't really be that dangerous. To do called shots, you take a fault on your skill roll instead, which is, as we said, when you roll the 3d8 instead of 2d8 and you choose the 2 lowest. So if you still make your attack, you hit, and you can hit the head and do damage directly there. And there's other ones where the full body, no weak point, heart, holy weapons, etc. The no weak point means that even if you blow them to bits, all the bits keep still coming for you, which is kind of a cool little effect. We've also got infection, that a zombie deals damage which draws blood, there's a chance of infection. When combat is over, roll 1d8. If you roll 5 or more, you're fine. 4 or less, you're infected. Infection will deal 1 damage to you every hour. Unlike normal damage, this drops you to 0 HP. You don't pass out, you die immediately, and a short while later your character will get back up as a zombie. Or is not less yet. After combat, the infection will take 1d8 to start spreading. Gives you time to amputate the infected limb and save yourself a very heavy cost. So there's some interesting little extra rules in there, which you can get into later. But ReAnimated's quite a fun little game. It's fairly simple. And it's free to download. So I recommend having a look and seeing what you think. But anyway, as usual, I've been wittering on for quite long enough. So thank you very much for watching. As always, most of all, you look after yourselves. And I'll catch you later. Bye now.